Have you ever tried to give a compliment to a British person and somehow ended up feeling awkward, confused, or slightly embarrassed? Maybe you said something perfectly nice, like, "Your hair looks lovely today," and instead of smiling proudly and saying thank you, they immediately replied with something like, "Oh, stop it," or "Don't be silly," or even "No, it doesn't." And you stood there thinking, wait, did I just offend them somehow? If that's happened to you, don't worry. You didn't do anything wrong. You've simply stepped into one of the most fascinating and confusing parts of British communication: the art of the compliment. Complimenting someone in Britain is surprisingly complicated. If you're too enthusiastic, it can sound sarcastic. But if you're too direct, it can feel uncomfortable. And the funniest thing of all, many Brits will do absolutely anything to avoid accepting a compliment. It's practically a national sport. So in this video, we're going to break down how compliments really work in British English. We'll explore two main areas. First, the famous British backhanded compliment. The compliment that really isn't quite a compliment. I'll explain more about that soon. And then we will focus on genuine compliments, how Brits struggle to accept them, and how you can defend your compliment when they try to escape it. So let's get into it. Chapter 1: Backhanded Compliments. Let's start with something very British: the backhanded compliment. A backhanded compliment is a sentence that sounds positive at first, but actually has a hidden negative meaning inside it. So it's not a normal compliment. It's a mix of praise and criticism at the same time. Sometimes it's sarcastic, sometimes it's a joke, and sometimes it's just very British humour. If you're not used to it, they can be confusing, and you may find yourself thinking, was that nice or was that rude? Let's look at some examples and break them down properly. Imagine someone says to you, "Wow, what a surprise to see you here at 9 a.m. Now, this sounds positive. They're happy to see you. But the key word here is surprise. The hidden meaning is, you're usually late. They are complimenting the fact you're on time, but also pointing out that punctuality is not normally your strength. The tone is usually light, joking, maybe used between friends or colleagues who know each other well. Here's another one. You're so brave for wearing that. This one can be dangerous. Technically, it could be genuine. Maybe someone is wearing something bold and confident. But in the UK, brave is often code for, that outfit is unusual. I wouldn't wear it. It suggests the outfit is risky, strange, or a bit questionable. Keep in mind, the meaning depends on facial expression, voice tone, and the relationship between speakers. Here's another classic. I never expected you to get that right. This is such a British sentence because it mixes praise and insult perfectly. On one hand, they're acknowledging you succeeded. On the other hand, they're openly admitting they had zero faith in you. It's often said jokingly between friends or colleagues as a playful dig. And one of my favourites, that's actually quite good. The most important word here is actually. When a Brit says actually, it usually implies surprise. It means they didn't expect it to be good. So yes, they are complimenting you, but they're also reminding you that their expectations were very, very low. The key thing to understand is most of the time, these backhanded compliments aren't meant to be cruel. They're part of British humour. We love a bit of playful teasing and friendly sarcasm. Now, let's move on to the other side of the spectrum. Chapter 2. Genuine compliments. Deflecting and defending them. When it comes to real compliments, truly positive, sincere praise, British people behave very differently from many other cultures. In a lot of countries, if someone compliments you, you simply say thank you and maybe smile proudly. Easy, normal, socially expected. But in Britain, absolutely not. When a British person receives a compliment, their first instinct is usually to deflect it, reject it, minimize it, or laugh it off. Not because they don't appreciate it, not because they're offended, but because culturally, being openly proud of yourself can feel uncomfortable. Many Brits are raised with the idea that showing off or accepting praise too confidently makes you look arrogant. So, instead of accepting the compliment, they protect themselves with humour or humility. If you give a British person a compliment, you might hear responses like, "No, it's not true. Stop it, you're just being kind. Oh, don't be silly." These responses politely suggest, "I don't want to look like I agree with you." Let's look at some specific examples and situations. Imagine you compliment someone's hair. "Your hair looks amazing today." A British person might reply, "Oh, it's not that good." They're not rejecting you. They're simply downplaying their appearance so they don't seem vain. Now let's try complimenting someone's outfit. "You look great." Response, "Oh, this old thing." Even if the outfit is brand new and took them 2 hours to choose, they'll pretend it's nothing special. This is classic British modesty. Now let's compliment something they own. "That's a really nice watch." They might say, "It only cost £5. Here, they actively reduce the value of the compliment. Instead of saying thank you, they try to make their possessions seem ordinary, not impressive. Now, let's give it a go complimenting someone's effort. "You must have worked so hard on this." They might respond with, "Oh, I just threw it together." Again, downplaying, reducing effort so it doesn't look like they're boasting. Now let's try complimenting their skill. "You're really talented." They reply, "I just got lucky." They shift credit away from themselves to luck, timing, or circumstance. Now let's try complimenting their work. "This is amazing. You did such a great job." They might say, "Anyone could have done it." Spoiler, no, not everyone could have done it. But saying this keeps them humble and avoids embarrassment. This behavior isn't rude. In fact, it's the opposite. It comes from politeness, modesty, and a cultural preference to not draw attention to yourself. Compliments can feel socially uncomfortable, so Brits soften them by pushing them away. But here's when things get even more interesting. Let's talk about defending your compliment. Because British people love to downplay compliments, sometimes you actually need to defend your compliment to show that you really mean it. If you just give up and move on, the other person may genuinely think you were just being polite. So instead, it's common to gently insist. You can use phrases like this to gently insist and show you're serious. You could say something simple like, "No, I'm not joking." Or you could try a softer reassurance like, "No, really." If you want something a bit warmer and sincere, you could say, "No, truly." Or you might use something casual and friendly like, "I'm not just saying it." My personal favorite is, "No, I mean it." If you want to sound slightly more heartfelt, you could say, "Honestly, I mean it." You could also try something a bit firmer but still kind, like, "Seriously, it's true." And this final one feels very British and reassuring. I wouldn't say it if it weren't true. Now let's look at a short example conversation. "Your painting is amazing." "Oh no, it's really not that good." "No, seriously, I love it. You're very talented." What you're doing here is reassuring them that this isn't empty flattery. It's real. Be prepared though, it's very common to go back and forth a few times, gently defending your compliment until they truly believe you mean it. Once they feel safe and know you're sincere, they're much more likely to finally accept the compliment with a shy smile, a quiet thank you, or a slightly embarrassed laugh. And that honestly is very British. So there you have it, the wonderfully complicated world of British compliments. From backhanded praise to genuine admiration wrapped in layers of humility, it's all part of British humour, politeness, and social comfort. Next time you're talking to a Brit, don't panic if they deflect your genuine compliment. Chances are they're not being rude, they're just being British. If you'd like to receive practical tips and real-life English expressions delivered straight to your inbox, don't forget to subscribe to my free newsletter. The link is in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.